Imagine an apartment in a busy Japanese city, neighbors on every side, trains rumbling outside, convenience stores glowing all night, and inside one quiet room, someone has been dead for weeks. No one noticed. In Japan, there is a word for this: Kodokushi, gudusi, lonely death. It refers to people who die alone in their homes and are only discovered after a long time has passed. Food rots, mail piles up. Sometimes the rent is paid automatically, so no one asks questions until the money runs out. The phenomenon first appeared in newspapers in the 1970s and became widely known in the 1980s and 2000s, especially after a notorious case: a 69-year-old man found as a skeleton, 3 years. After his death, his body eaten by insects while his bills quietly drained his bank account. Today, Kodokushi is no longer rare. According to Japan's National Police Agency, over 76,000 people died alone in their homes in 2024. More than 3/4 of them aged 65 or older. In thousands of cases, the body wasn't found for more than a month. In just the first half of 2024, around 37,000 people living alone were found dead at home. Roughly 1 in 10 had been dead for over a month before anyone realized. At first, people thought this was purely an elderly problem, but recent data tells a darker story. Kodokushi is rising among younger adults too. In Tokyo and other cities, more people in their 20s and 30s are dying alone in small apartments, sometimes staying undiscovered for days or weeks. So what's happening? Researchers describe Kodokushi as a side effect of hyper-modern, hyper-aging Japan. Families that once lived with 3 generations under one roof have fragmented into single-person households. People move far from their hometowns for work and never build strong ties where they end up. Economic insecurity and precarious part-time or contract work push many into small, isolated lives. Neighbors are polite, but distant. Knocking on someone's door feels like an intrusion. Kodokushi is what happens when a society becomes efficient, but forgets how to notice each other. There is a hidden workforce that lives in the shadow of this phenomenon. Specialized cleaning teams, sometimes called lonely death cleaners, are hired by landlords, local governments, or distant relatives. They enter rooms that no one has stepped into since the person fell. They remove stained mattresses, piles of convenience store trash, unopened letters. Some of them, like artists and photographers who document these spaces, create dioramas and photo essays of Kodokushi rooms: a single cup on a table, a TV facing an empty cushion, a calendar still open on the month the person died. The goal is not horror, but a wake-up call. It's easy to turn Kodokushi into a kind of urban legend, Japan's lonely death epidemic. But behind every case is a human timeline: someone who used to eat with colleagues, then stopped going out; someone whose children live far away assuming dad is fine; someone who got sick and decided not to bother anyone; someone whose phone stopped ringing long before their heart did. Kodokushi is not unique to Japan. Other aging societies are starting to see similar patterns, but Japan has given this tragedy a name authau, and naming it forces a conversation. That conversation is now pushing the government to collect national data for the first time and to explore policies against loneliness and social isolation. Volunteer programs, community check-ins, and local networks are trying to rebuild the simple habit of noticing when someone disappears. This isn't a ghost story. It's a story about what happens when a life becomes invisible while the person is still alive. If the thought of Kodokushi scares you, it should. But maybe the real horror isn't dying alone. Maybe it's living woke, in a world where no one would notice. If you're watching this and you feel like you're fading into the background of your own life, please talk to someone: a friend, a family member, a counselor, a local support line in your country. Being seen is not a luxury, it's a need. Tell me in the comments, do you think your city could have its own version of Kodokushi? I'm your name, And this is Black Butterfly Key, where the strangest stories are sometimes the most human.